Hi, my name is Name the Nerd, but you can call me Name. I'd like to have a conversation about main character deaths, and we're going to begin this conversation by talking about Diary of a Wimpy Kid. See, Diary of a Wimpy Kid was a kids' literature sensation when it hit the scene back in 2007. I remember sitting on the floor of Barnes & Noble when I was 11 years old, looking at this book and thinking, this is crazy. It's a novel, but it's a comic book. It's both of those things combined together. And it was really funny. Then Roderick Rules came out. Then The Last Straw came out. And I see the word last and I'm thinking, okay, this is the last book in a trilogy. But no, Dog Days comes out after that, and then The Ugly Truth. And then suddenly I blink and then there are 11 books in the series? Around books 4 and 5, Greg Heffley stops aging and the character growth stops progressing. And now I can't really find myself able to care about those books. But that's okay, I'm not the target audience anymore. But I've been telling my family and friends for about a year now what would bring everyone and their mother back into the book series, and that is Death of Wimpy Kid. Do not tell me that you would not be interested to see how that would go down. Death of Wimpy Kid would be a blockbuster hit. Like, bookstores would have lines waiting for the midnight release. Amazon and other online retailers wouldn't be able to meet all of the pre-orders that book would have. It might even come close to that 24-hour sold record that Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows set way back when. According to the New York Times, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows sold 11 million copies in its first 24 hours. Nothing has come close to that since that day in 2007. It's funny, both of these books that we're talking about came out at the same time. A website called Reuters.com did a story about the hype and the build-up to the release of Deathly Hallows. Barnes & Noble gave reporters a tour of its distribution center, but asked them to keep the location secret. They had security everywhere, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's how committed they were to not letting the end of this book get spoiled. But sure enough, my family, my dad got his copy, and I took the book and went to that epilogue and read the same few pages that probably every other kid in my generation read. It was a cultural touchstone. The only other event similar to this one that I can think of is another final moment of a famous character in fiction, and that is Death of Superman in 1992. Now, this was not so much a celebration of a series as much as it was the death of the comic book industry. It's really kind of tragic. Mile High Comics did a retrospective on this period of time, and they said what made the Death of Superman's promotion so much different than all the rest of the Species Comics marketing schemes cooked up during the early 90s was that it was aimed at the general public, kind of like this Death of Wimpy Kid idea that I have. Since Superman was such a recognized icon within America's overall popular culture, DC had no more right to kill him than Disney had the right to kill Mickey Mouse. DC didn't actually own Superman, but rather was a trustee of a sacred national image. So what ended up happening with the sale of this book was that it was advertised to everybody as a huge collector's item. And everyone went to buy this, including people who had never bought a comic book before, and everyone was trying to sell it. But because everyone had it, nobody wanted to buy it, and interest in the comic book industry within a short period of time was just drained entirely. And so we come back to this Death of Wimpy Kid idea. Would this sell a lot of books? Probably. Are books designed to be resold? No. So there's no real threat of the death of an industry here. But I think Chuck from Mile High is right in that, well, Greg Heffley is no Superman, but the Wimpy Kid over the past 15 years has become a children's icon. And I think bringing in this, even if it would be a parody, it would be a really adult kind of parody. It would ruin the image of childhood that has become so beloved by many young readers. So I think ultimately it would do more harm than good. But, of course, the most famous figure to die and then come back to life is Jesus Christ. And that book sold really well. I don't know, Jeff Kinney, you want to talk about it? You can come hit me up. My name is Nami the Nerd. It's been great talking to you guys. Let me know what you think down below. Peace in Christ, and imagine on.